for a bigger spin, but whatever you do, make sure you catch opponents in that final hit because that's where most of the damage is. This move is armored. You can definitely use it to power through enemies' defenses, but if you see it coming, you can outrun it or maneuver out of the way. And its biggest weakness is verticality. Once activated, Hidan has some trouble going up or down. He can jump a little bit if he's on the ground, but if you're airborne, I genuinely do not know how to land. This is extremely powerful to protect points or to capture points, and if you want to use it offensively and the opponent can't run, they also cannot block it because it will guard break them pretty quick. If they have Professor Jutsu, this will either push them out of those shields, or you'll do training damage with something like Nichizo. That's it because it's not unblockable, and if the guard breaks, it will not be effective against your side of armor. But also you're healing as you're spinning, so against something like Nichizo, the trade is good for you. It's pretty ultra. That said, if you're on the other side and you see this coming and running away is not an option, you're still not completely powerless. First of all, this does not disable substitution, so you can always just use your sub if it's off
Broccoli is my favorite character.
Second of all, most unblockable attacks will actually interrupt this move. And since there have been a ton of unblockables lately, I guess it actually has a lot of counters. Solid Jutsu, very versatile, very easy to use as well, but very easy to counter if you know it's coming. Looking for something a bit more advanced, I'll check out his second.
I think it's just for the game because he's more of a physical.
So, gives you when you
Jubilee had a little bit more range in this game to get stuff off, so in my opinion, it just made it it's more of a game they made. It's more of a move they made for the game than the one that actually exists.
Action speed, one is infinite increase, 4 is melee attack power, 5 is defense, 6 is max health and a buff to heal received. It also restores your health back to max when you use this one. And finally, 7. Jutsu and substitution building. If you're taken out, you lose all of your buffs and you gotta start over from scratch. Now this jutsu is very easy to land because you cannot substitute out of it until the very last hit. But once you land the first hit, you're gonna get buffed for sure, unless a teammate attacks the opponent, allowing them to sub out. Or if someone on the enemy team actually interrupts you, because much like our previous ultimate, this one is also armored. It also guard breaks on the first hit, but you can get interrupted by unblockable jutsu. The last hit of the combo is the one that gives you the buff, so if you get interrupted or the enemy dies before that, you will get nothing. That said, it's a jutsu that starts really fast and travels like crazy, making it very easy to land in 1v1s. You can use it as a combo starter or as a combo finisher, it's kind of up to you, but I do recommend running it with some type of survivability jutsu or with a pocket healer so you can build up those buffs over the course of the match. His other jutsu is actually a very good fit. His ultimate, on the other hand, maybe not the best idea because it's a bit suicidal. First, Jutsu, Death, Possession, Blood. A 2-stage jutsu where the first button press starts the ritual, and the second one ends it. When you start the ritual, your health goes back to full. During this time, you cannot be killed. You will take damage, but your HP will not drop below 1. There are exceptions. There are jutsu that can actually kill you, like Marui or Seal Jutsu, for instance, but other than that, you are completely immortal. Your goal during the ritual is to mark as many opponents as possible. You can do this by hitting them with anything, a jutsu, an attack, or a ninja tool. That said, a simple kunai would maybe be overpowered, so they gave you a custom ninja tool during this ultimate, which is just a simple rush attack. It's fast, but you can also block it. It's simply a nerf. They didn't want you marking people with shooting it. When you're done, you press the button again, and you will stab yourself, transferring all the damage you took to every enemy you mark, including the damage from the stab that takes you down to 1 HP. Now remember, the first stage heals you back to full HP, so even if no one attacks you, you're a defense type. You got the most health in the game. This is a suicide move that will kill almost anyone that has been marked. It's a jutsu with a ton of potential, but it has a glaring weakness. Ending the ritual requires a big cutscene, and this whole animation can be interrupted by unblockable moves. Yep, there's gonna be a week or a month of running unblockable moves to counter Hidan's stuff. If the opponent is ready for it, there's very little you can do. They will interrupt you. But if you are successful, you will most likely get multiple kills with this. All you gotta do afterwards is survive, since you'll be down to 1 HP. Of course, you can always choose to not activate the second stage and just let the ultimate run out. You would be treating it as kind of a big heal, and if you want to do that, I'd probably prefer running something like Sage mode instead, but I guess this one allows you to change your mind in the moment. The ultimate also charges pretty quick, especially if paired with an ability that heals you, like Hidan's first jutsu. After trying out all of these jutsu in a couple of different builds, this is the ninja card I have made for Hidan. I think all of his jutsu are original, creative, and very fun to use, while having a ton of counterplay since all of his stuff loses to unblockable jutsu. So he is a great DLC overall. I did knock an extra rank for the ultimate compared to the jutsu, since it kind of feels like you gotta fight to complete the ritual. Otherwise, anything can interrupt you during that long animation. You can't even use your ninja animal to relocate as it's disabled during the ritual. But I fully recommend Shidani if you're interested in more defense type jutsu. That said, that's all my opinion. I love to know yours as well. If we watch Shinobi Strike, I pick out the best builds from the 4 season 9. No jutsu have so far.
Nicely done.
Probably feel the best after the patch. Thanks for watching.
There's this meme that I see. All she's me that I always think about because it literally reminds me of that all the time. You know how she's me just like gave Itachi his eye right before he died, right? Or killed himself or whatever.
What you might not know is
Hold on,
performance
let me
and
look this up
durability
really
go
quick.
right
Here,
along
you
with
show
it.
you
You
this.
see, we test
This is so
and then we
dumb.
test again. World-class engineering and rigorous testing to ensure our tools perform at the highest level and stand the test of time without testing involved. Now, it's time for you to
Is it
put
just
us
be
to the
taking
test.
out their
Whatever you
eyes
do,
and being
do it
like,
for us.
oh,
We're free.
where? Like y'all just what?
Well, I think in that one, well, I think for Shisui specifically, that he was numb from the pain.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, because he was being poisoned to death, so he wasn't gonna survive. So he was
Well, I knew that,
fine to
but, like,
yank his eye out. It
I'm
wasn't.
just talking about in general.
Well,
Even
yeah.
when Itachi did it,
Well, yeah, no, like I mean, just for him, it makes sense. Everybody else
just took their eye out.
just
and
yanking
was just
them,
like,
just
here you
yanking them that
go.
shit.
Here, snap your eye.
Right.
And Itachi, whenever fucking Itachi and Sasuke was about to fight, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna take that eye, nigga. And then and Sasuke was like, no, I'm taking that eye, nigga.
And then ever since I left OTK,
And then Itachi's sitting over there like,
suffer for my actions, for the things that I
They
say.
just be
like,
putting it in,
then just
and
yank
then it
this
should just be
nigga's whole
waiting.
eye, yeah.
Just be working without having no surgeries or nothing.
Virtue cocksucker. It's truly a shame. And I'm not
Exactly,
gonna lie,
it's
system
like
is a pretty
currency in
brutal
that
town.
world
It
or
is,
some
and
shit,
I've noticed
like,
that
how many
it's
eyes
kind of
you
like
want?
this
You want
competition
you want
for
2, 3?
There's a lot of infighting on the left, and whoever it is
What
that
y'all
is
eyes
the
that?
best person on earth, but someone who's
Where my dick at?
99% left is now considered far right because well, we're now so far left that everybody in the center is a far right extremist Nazi. And it's exhausting. I think there's a lot of people on this earth
I don't know.
who get exhausted on having to keep up this facade of us pretending about issues we truly don't give a fuck about because they're issues we just really shouldn't do. There are words that we can't say that really don't matter. Like, are you really going to tell me I'm a bad person for saying the word retard? Come on. And it's just kind of embarrassing. And I do think there is, and let's just be
I
real,
think retard
a
is
real
a
issue in our
bad
society
word.
where
I don't know
the
why
radical
people get
far left
offended
is
for other people.
dehumanizing anybody
for
who's a
that
centralist and anybody who is right-leaning. And it's just tiresome. So this guy, I believe his name is Revenant777, made a video on how the radical left dehumanizes the right, and I would love to give this a watch. Let's get into it.
Of course, you deserve to be insulted and attacked.
Holy shit,
You
real
deserve to
quick,
be
think
insulted
before
and
you
attacked.
sleep, I see your ass in my chat. Great content, appreciate the fuck out of you, dude.
You are not deserving of civil conversation.
That's funny.
It's always confusing.
Thanks, I've been a fan since just before you called Frogan a fat bitch.
Yeah.
Which time?
I love listening to debates online, whether that be from left-wing people or right-wing people, or simply when I watch left-wing commentators. And when I hear somebody say, "Always puzzled me. Why would you say this? You're a horrible evil person. You don't deserve common respect or courtesy, and I'm not going to answer any conversation with you." You're not going to convince anybody when you're accusing them of something that they don't believe, and that is obviously untrue. And you're just calling them evil, and you're attacking them. You're just insulting them. What do you hope to be? And I thought about this for weeks on end. It bugs me to no end. But I figured it out. And unfortunately, I came to a very grim conclusion. You see, those statements, "You're not worthy of respect or courtesy, we cannot have a civil conversation," none of that is designed for stone. It's designed to radicalize the people who already agree. If you had two commentators and they're discussing and they're talking things, and one of them says that to the other, their goal is no longer to talk things out. Their goal is to simply radicalize, polarize, and isolate their own audience.
Yeah. I remember I had a conversation with a creator by the name of Sip Steven, who was accusing me of being a alt-right extremist grifter. And I said, can you just explain why you're saying these words to me? Like, why do you feel like I'm doing this? And they say, I don't deem you worthy of conversation. And I want to remind you that this is a guy who I was actively platforming and helped grow his career at every step of the way. Invited him on my podcast, helped him link up with sponsors, sent people his way. And this guy was sucking Hamas biker video Osama bin Laden, Epstein, baby oil Piper's dick so hard that he decided that me in mid-2025 was not worthy of a conversation. Everybody knows who's talking about it. Like, reason guy. The problem is, these people want to use words, like such extreme words, such extreme rhetoric towards you, that they know that if they actually engage you in any type of intellectual conversation whatsoever, they will be proven false, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And they can't risk being wrong because let their entire worldview falls apart. So they just lie and say, you're too far gone. It's pathetic. Don't forget Antichrist biker. You're right, I'll add that in as well.
I have a conversation with you, gives me the opportunity to show you that I'm not what you assume that I am. Doesn't make any sense.
It's to make the other person.
Does this not sound like Hassan crashed the fuck out on Ethan and saying, you racist piece of shit? That's all they do.
It's an evil community that cannot be talked to or reasoned.
Yep.
This video is designed for people who are right-wing. The title obviously says how the radical left dehumanizes people on the right.
Yep.
For people who are left-wing, you just don't have to click on this video. I'm going to try and give examples that you can also relate to and understand. If you have two people, one person said, I care about these kids who claim to be trans, but I don't think they're trans. I think that they're simply confused. I think that they need to get some help. And the other side simply says, you want trans kids to die, you hate them.
Because fucking nuance is dead. And everybody's brain is like a fucking potato in a microwave these days. Nobody can understand nuance. It's like me, for example. I get called transphobic all the fucking time. And obviously I'm being called transphobic by retards. I want to let you guys know real fact has tweeted out about children 2001 past 6 months. Can somebody check their hard drives? I really feel like someone should not be talking about kids that much. But I want to remind you guys that my take on transgenderism and what trans people mean is as simple as this. If you're a parent and you're giving your children hormonal replacement therapy before the age of 18, you're a woman. Okay? You are. Trans kids are the product of mentally ill parents. They are. Kids should not be worrying about what gender they are at 8 years old. They should be playing with Legos. They should be playing with action figures. That's it. You do not fuck with the natural process of growing up. You let your kids make that decision once their frontal lobe is fully developed. Now, I believe that's around 23 and 25. It's a big decision to make. Okay? You do not force your own agenda on a child. You do not do that.
It was taken away.
Transgenders. Well, I do find the topic quite confusing. There's a lot of nuance to it. I believe that everybody should be allowed to do with their own bodies as they see fit. That is it. It's really that simple. I have no problem with it whatsoever. You do whatever makes you happy as long as you're old enough and you consent to that idea. The also idea of you can't consent to puberty, but you can consent to HRT is a insane principle and a mindset to be pushing on the children. Leave the kids alone. If you're an adult, do whatever the fuck you want. It's really that simple. I don't care. There's more that I can go into, but I think that lays the groundwork as simple enough as it is. Let's keep going.
Because he said those things, he's not aiming to convince others. That's not going to convince him. The right person isn't going to any of those things.
Why don't you have this take with abortion though? Okay, I guess we'll also talk about my abortion. It's okay if you agree. It's okay if you disagree. I will let you guys know, 2 years ago, I was always pro-choice. More recently, I became pro-life with a little bit of nuance. Now, the nuance of that is that I believe the woman should have the right to abort their child if the child is a product of a rape, incestuous nature, or if it comes with the life of a mother. Go ahead, your body, it's your life, do your thing, right? But the other thing is that when you have women waiting an extended period of time, I think the time is 6 weeks, I think you should know when you're pregnant around the 6 week mark, and when your child can begin to think and have a heartbeat. I really do think abortion is fucked up. I think a lot of kids' lives are wasted by negligence of parents. And I don't want to get emotional on the subject, but just imagining that there may have been friends or people in my life that I cared about that may not have ever been born due to the fact that their parents were not using a condom, were fucking around, and just came inside the other girl's pussy because it feels good, and then bada bing, bada boom, they're fucking dead now. That's how I feel. Obviously, you can disagree, but I just worry about potential lives being wasted, and it does make me upset. However, I'm open to everybody else's opinion, and I'm not ever going to hold it against you if you are pro-choice. That's absolutely A-okay.
That are being made against them. The sole purpose of those statements are to make it so that people no longer interact with or communicate with people who make those claims. It kills discourse, because you can better isolate people and polarize people if they no longer communicate. And for my left-wing audience, let me give you right-wing examples. So
that view is also pro-choice, though. Well, yeah, because it's like, people want to say you're either black or white, but there's a lot of nuance that exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of nuance to every take, right? There's not just kill babies, don't kill babies, right? It's like there's a lot of gray area. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
You can relate to this. If you're talking to a person and you say you're pro-choice, you say I'm in favor of women's rights, I want them to have access to women's healthcare, it protects women, and it also gives them freedom. Imagine you said those things, and the other person, instead of engaging with anything you said, they simply claim against you. Actually, you're a Satanist. You simply want to sacrifice babies to Moloch for Satan. You're a Satanist, right? You hate life. You want to kill kissing babies. That's all you want to do. You just hate babies. People get right. They truly believe this. How could they possibly ever have a rational conversation? They can't. You're
don't do that to this why, baby.
Basically,
yo, man, why the fuck they look so good all of a sudden? Wait, this is what the far right looks like? Goddamn, sign me up. How do I get one of those?
If you don't.
In fact, it's intended to have that effect, but for the other side. Especially considering you don't know any of those things. I guarantee 99% of my audience who's pro-choice, they're probably not Satanists who want to sacrifice babies to Moloch. Okay? Can we agree on that? I think so. Yet I'm sure this is the first time we've heard that talking point, right? That's what's happening in American politics. And the exact purpose behind this is so that they can radicalize their own beliefs, because that pushes them away from honest, open communication with the other side and pushes them towards taking action. We need revolutionaries. We don't need people who can think. And I've broken it down to what literally every radical leftist does. In our train of thought, we start off with Nazis. Nazis are bad because they killed innocent people. They killed quite a few if you know anything about history. And we don't talk to Nazis. Instead, we should make them feel uncomfortable. In fact, good people will do bad things to Nazis. We're supposed to punch Nazis. But you know what Nazis are also? They're fascists. Nazis are fascists. But what is fascism, you may ask? Well, we're not really going to specify that. We're going to leave it nice and vague, because we're simply going to talk about what fascism means to me. And what fascism means to me is simply whatever I disagree with that infringes on freedom. If you disagree with women's rights to abort children, you're a fascist.
And if you're a fascist, that means you're a Nazi. So anybody who disagrees with me is a Nazi. That's crazy, bro. I love it. It's so true. It's so unbelievably true.
If you disagree with trans rights to mutilate themselves, you're a fascist. That's how their train of thought goes. And who exactly is fascist again? Literally everybody who voted for Trump.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. Like, if you're a person who says we shouldn't pump children full of chemicals that are unnatural with their body and then chop their dicks off, I'm sorry, you're not transphobic. You just have common sense. Leave the kids alone. It's really that easy.
With the American population, that is fascist. But wait, if you're fascist, that means you're a Nazi. And if you're a Nazi, it's good if bad things happen to you. See what I'm getting at? These are the mental gymnastics they go through in order to justify violence.
Oh, yeah.
These people literally have more sympathy for child murderers of others than people who vote right-wing. And again, I want to make it clear, I literally have nothing against people who are left. I enjoy talking to them. I think they're fun people. We disagree on practically everything. I still can be friends with them. I don't have a problem with
it. If you can't communicate with someone who has slightly varied political views of you, you're insane. Like, you are absolutely fucking insane. If you can't have serious conversation with your friends, they're not your friends, they're legit liabilities. You need to have friends who you can engage in any amount of, like, heated debates without having to fall out. Otherwise, you are just, you have a liability in your life, guys, you do.
With people who are left, I want to clarify. We are simply exploring the radical left, which is becoming much more prominent these days.
Obviously, if they have extreme views, then it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want to be friends with who's a fucking terrorist. Right? It's that easy. But, like, slight disagreements, you should be able to talk these things out.
Yet take note of this. They don't overtly condone violence. They don't. That would get them banned off of YouTube, or worse, they could possibly be in prison, because that's illegal. And the left is not known for being brave, mind you. Instead, they like to play it safe. If somebody they disagree with dies, they don't condemn it, they don't care. In fact, they're going to laugh at it. That's all they can do. That's as close to the edge they're willing to go. Corey Comparator was a horrible person. Dying for your child does not mean that you love them or take good care of them. The Trump supporter that died was a lunatic. He was most likely a fascist, and I mean, he's a what would you expect? Like, he probably wanted trans people to die. When a Trump supporter dies, who cares? He probably was a fascist. In fact, let's laugh at him. Let's dance on his grave. After all, you shouldn't be made to feel safe. Islam, for example, he overtly hates white Christians. He hates us so much that he flat out admits it would be better if they got views than other groups. Henry College is like doing one good thing, which is that, like, if you have these millionaire, billionaire, wasp fail sons, at least taking them out of other colleges so they can only do dates to other billionaire, millionaire failed daughters is, like, in some respects, a little bit better. So let's recap.
Did he get banned for justifying rape on stream? I would bet money on it that he did. He never got a ban for that. Okay. So he went live and justified rape and did get no punishment. Okay. Why do you with pro-life versus pro-choice debate is so difficult to navigate? Well, it's very simple. It all comes down to, like, what you determine to be when is the child's life, when is it a reality? So some people will say, oh, you're pro-life, then never jerk off ever again because you're killing millions of babies by coming. Well, okay. If that's your perspective on when a child's life exists, sure, you can have that belief. I think it's a little bit insane, but you can have that belief. But for me, I believe a child's life is in jeopardy once the child develops a heartbeat, or once the child can think. I'm sure we'd all agree that aborting an 8-month child, that's just fucking murder. Like, if they're 8 months, your belly's this big, and you will, like, that's just fucking murder. So the reason why it's hard to determine whether you're pro-life or pro-choice is when do you think the baby's life is now in jeopardy? And depending on where you think the child's life is now coming to existence, that will determine your viewpoint. And that's the big argument, and that's why it's always a gray area. When do you believe that the soul goes into a human body? When do they start thinking? When do they develop a heartbeat? So on and so forth. For me, I think it's around the 6-week mark. Yeah, I think the 6-week mark is pretty fucking fair. But once again, my beliefs aren't so hard that I'm not open to discussing it further. I've always loved doing that. And I think the people who get so upset over these type of issues to arguing over, like, the minute details just need to fucking get a grip. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's keep going.
It's not only better for us to be friends. They also don't care when we die. They also get pleasure out of it. They'll laugh on your grave because you deserve it. After all, you have an evil ideology. There's no possible way that you could believe these things and not be evil, deserving of death. You still not believe me when I say those things? You're going to. Not only do they laugh when we die, but his son openly admits that people should be landlords.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all. Yeah, kill those motherfuckers in a video game. Sorry.
Assad's mother's a landlord, by the way.
Holy shit! Kill those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in the.
Assad just actively promoted the death of his own mother. Oh my god! Whoever this guy is just fat Assad. What the fuck? That's insane.
They're fucking red capitalist bloods, dude. Oh my god, in a video game.
Because he's a communist. He's a crypto communist. He's not a man of principle. He doesn't care about morality, especially when it comes to telling the truth.
I'm going to be real, guys. I don't think that Hassan believes 70% of the shit that comes out of his mouth. I think he just says it just to farm engagement. And that's the honest truth. I don't think there's anybody who can possibly be that far gone. I genuinely think he's just a fucking shill. He's a propagandist pusher. He doesn't believe the dog shit that comes out of his mouth.
Being honest is a disadvantage for these people. Now, instead, he needs to spread the good, holy Marxist spirit, even to Landlord's podcast, where he shares.
Which, by the way, I think I think that's worse. I do. Because when you're pushing these type of fucking radicalized ideologies and radicalizing your audience, and you know it's wrong to do, I think that's even worse.
His beliefs, and he does not hesitate.
He knows he's a propagandist. He said it. Yeah, exactly.
It is about equity instead of equality. That's what people misunderstand about socialism. It is not about equity instead of equality at all. We don't have material equality as a baseline in this country. We don't have that at all. I'm advocating for a baseline of material equality, and I'm advocating for better worker protections, better worker rights, and less alienation.
That's all a lie. That's a fucking lie.
Right.
What he's talking about can happen in a capitalist system, and it's explicitly not what socialism is about. It's not about material and equal conditions. That's called welfare or redistribution, which capitalism can do, right?
I will say, whether you like or hate Destiny, I think we can all agree he is definitely the strongest debater on the entire planet. Yeah, I'll be real. I enjoy listening to Destiny talk, even on issues I disagree with, because the guy can really just fucking go in. The guy is incredibly researched and incredibly, like, he can talk really fast. Yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
If you were talking...
Now, once again, you can say that you hate him. That's all good. I don't care. I'm just saying, like, acknowledging his gift as a debater is just, I feel like it's just common sense. Destiny's fine until you mention Trump to him. I got no idea. I don't really watch much of his content. I just really like watching him weigh
specifically about getting rid of...
Nobody told about yesterday? Wait, what did he do yesterday? He talked about you. Well, I mean, once again, I don't know what he said. I haven't seen any clip. And so far, I haven't been sent anything whatsoever. And I'll be real, I think if Destiny did talk negatively about me, I do think it would have been clipped and sent to me, right? So I still really don't want to go in on this ideology that, oh, Destiny was going in on you. Well, then how come I haven't seen it, right? I'm well aware that Destiny has said some crazy-ass shit. I understand that people who do crazy shit, that doesn't mean that you're not allowed to compliment. Like, guys, let's be real. Hitler was bad, but I heard the guy could paint. Even though somebody did something fucking horrible, that doesn't mean that now everything they've done is now completely fucking moot. So, like, even though Destiny may have said some bad things, he's still good at debating. Well, that's getting clipped. Don't said Hitler can paint. I don't like this guy. Like, the problem is that when somebody doesn't like someone, now everything in their life is just like, you can't say or acknowledge any ability that they have whatsoever, otherwise you support them. And I think that type of black and white thinking is like, it's so exhausting. You know what I mean? Well, like, sure, you can hate Destiny, but the guy can debate, right? It's really that easy.
Eliminating the profit, or at the very least, redirecting the profit to workers. You want to destroy private ownership, because owners that don't work shouldn't be collecting money off of people that do. That's fundamentally what your beliefs is. And that's not even like this is what Marxists believe. This is what you believe. You said this on stream. His idea of socialism is what Republicans called socialism in 2005. Socialism is when you pay your taxes.
Socialism is just when government does more stuff, not at all when we execute you. Keep in mind, this guy's channel is literally dedicated to teaching people how to become landlords and to become millionaires. He actively teaches people to become the things Hassan hates and advocates for the death of those people. Yet he's perfectly fine sitting down having a cup of coffee with these people, as long as it means getting the good message to their people.
Imagine that. Hassan being a hypocrite, big 2025. Who saw that coming, guys? That could have been on anybody's bingo. There's just no way.
Again, these aren't men of principles.
You call it selling out your principles. I call it fucking winning. And that's my principle. To win as a socialist, not to lose as a socialist. That's not my principle. I don't give a about principled failure. Principled failure is worth dog shit.
These people don't care about truth. They want power. They only care about winning in their own words. And being a man of principles means you gotta tell the truth, right? But that only holds you back because these people, they're not honest with you about what they believe.
You have to advocate for a much lighter form of propaganda. You want America, in the way that I feel about it, and if you want America to get out of the way, or places with more revolutionary potential to do what they would normally do, I think that one thing you have to do is advocate for a lighter form, while simultaneously still...
I mean, let's be real. Hassan has been shitting on Elon incessantly for months, if not years by now. And then yesterday, he's begging Elon for a collab. These people, they just have no backbone whatsoever. They have no principles whatsoever. They're all weak people just trying anything to get power. It's so pathetic.
Still doing that shit propaganda, and that goes beyond,
right,
such a democratic idea.
That's what these leftists are taught to do. That's what they actively do. They don't reveal fully what they do. No, we gotta water it down first. Make it easier for people to digest. We water down the information so that they can be set on the right path of radicalization, which should be really concerning for you, even if you're... Because if this is the watered down message, where they think it's and they don't care when you die, what do they really believe? I mean, this is what they're totally fine openly admitting and showing to people.
I really don't believe that there's any way to genuinely, or anybody, I don't think there's any way for anybody to truly exist on the far left or far right without being completely deranged. I feel like the majority, like 99% of human beings on this earth, should be left-leaning or right-leaning, but when you fall to agreeance with every single extremist ideology that you can align with, I just don't think you're very smart. I think you see everything as black and white, and I don't think that's a proper way to actually judge the world on. I just feel like there's no way. You know, and there's absolutely no, you have no nuance whatsoever, and I think that makes you a weak human being. Also, Pico, boys, what up, man?
They have no problem with this. This is not the most radical part of this. It's not just behavior. They want you. They're actually working towards that goal. Look at what they're doing. They're proactively taking steps to make their own audiences not communicate with people who disagree with them. They're supposed to be good. So simply, oh, you're not seeing an evil person and call it a this. We can't talk to these evil people because at the end of the day, this is language designed to be evil. You're not a person who has different views or opinions on the first place. You know, you just are using
I had the extra bag. I have thought put in the car.
You hate women. That's what this is.
Well, I mean, yeah, I do hate women, but what does that have to do with anything? I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. You're great at the porn.
If you're against women, you think that's misconception. And there are better ways to help the homeless. You know, you just hate the homeless. You want people. That is what radical leftists unironically believe about the world.
Okay, but can we agree, like, there are homeless people that are, like, the worst ever? Okay, like, on a tier list, like, I'm totally cool with the homeless people who sit outside of 7-Eleven and they have their head down and they're, like, holding a cup up. That's fine. When the homeless people are approaching me in my car at the stoplight and they're knocking on my window because they know it's red and I can't go anywhere, I swear to God, get the fuck away from my vehicle.
You know
That
something?
shit is so
I was thinking about that time that that guy did that because he saw us smoking, and he was like, "Yo, you got anything? You got anything to smoke?" No, we don't.
Now, I will also admit,
Because he's seen us spark up a blunt and thought, like, that was an invitation. No! We're in this car!
That's funny.
I will go
And
to
then,
7-Eleven.
like,
I will buy
we could give you, like, you nicely gave him some water, which was great because you were eating and you owed some free waters
intentionally
that
go
day.
and get a pet because they're homeless and they want the animal to suffer with them and they use them to manipulate your emotions. It's fucking terrible. Oh my God, it's so bad. But, like, you know, I will also admit, like, I will always give food to the
Yeah, it
homeless
is sad
people
when
that
they
say,
have
retire war vet.
animals
Fucking unkind to me, and now I
they
can't
can-
maintain my life.
they
I'm just
can-
like, man, I really hope you're telling the truth, man. Here's a fucking honey bun. Oh my
Right.
God.
You're big. It's because you're not even.
You don't ever notice how there's no hot female homeless people? You don't know why? Because every hot woman has the fallback of, oh, they're starting OnlyFans. That's why America is backwards these days. Because every hot woman has hot woman privilege. And even still,
Somebody.
a 5 out of 10 woman can become a 10 out of 10 woman if they use a little bit of makeup. You know what's insane? Oh my God, I saw this girl on the internet talking about her weight loss journey because she lost 20 pounds. Bitch, you got
You didn't have no
liposuction.
jury,
The
yeah.
fuck, you want us to be proud? You got surgery. The fuck are we on
There
about?
was
3
no effort.
liposuctions in 2 years. Put down the burger, fatty.
They're just not funny. Because a left-wing person, maybe they have the ability to interact and talk to
There
people
was
on the right. Hey, they understand that you don't agree, but we don't know what's best for you.
Hormone pie and Charlottesville.
Because
That was like an ice cream shop. And it was like in December.
Because if they
It
hate you, it's going to be a
was
lot
like
easier to lead
a day
revolution,
before my
right?
birthday, so I was
They make
feeling
it a point
great,
to
you
set
know.
up
And
You know
like,
the most controversial moment
asked
of my
this
career
guy,
was when
you
I
know,
took a photo of me in a MAGA hat as a joke. You know how many
if you
friends
wanted,
that
you know,
acquaintances I lost?
something or anything good
Are we really
ice
that
cream
weak that we can't handle someone wearing a
because like they
fucking
were
mask?
serving like
Supporting the
ciders
president.
and
Took that fucking trip, guys.
and
People who said
it was
that
like, oh my God.
we didn't leave America, they want
He was like, but do you have a phone? And I was like, no, unfortunately. And this nigga fucking physically
I'm not
got
saying
AIDS.
that World War III was stuff. That's true. That
You
didn't
could
happen.
see the annoyance on his face
Shit.
because I don't know if it's because I was buying him a drink or really thinking
So in those situations, the issue is that they don't want, they're homeless, but they don't want food. They want either drugs or whatever their vice is or alcohol. They can't ask you for that because they know if they ask you for it, then you're gonna assume, yeah, like, you're gonna be like, yo, let me go get some liquor. Like, no, nigga, you probably homeless because you fucking an alcoholic and you ruined your life on alcohol. I mean, damn sure I be like, yo, let me get some money for crack. You damn sure not gonna give them money for crack. So it's like, they be like, oh, can I get some money for food? But they know that you're not finna give them $20 for food. You're finna go buy them a fucking $10 something, if that. And that's not enough. And they can't be like, oh, well, instead of you just giving me that, buying me that, just give me the money, and then I'll just go get it myself. Because then they would just use it to go do whatever they were gonna do with it. So, like, I think in those situations, it's that they're angry because they don't actually want the food. Like, I've had a situation like that too. Like, I was trying to give a homeless person some food, and then I went up there and I was like, "Hey, do you want this or that?" It's like I don't like just assuming what people want to eat because they have allergies and stuff. And so, like, I had got them something. But no, I didn't. So for me, I don't usually buy homeless people anything. I'll give them something that I don't want, which I mean, I guess is whatever, however you feel about that. But like, I don't usually go buy them stuff. But it was like, I think, yeah, I had something and I had got it by accident. It was like somebody else. It was supposed to be somebody else's, and they gave it to me by accident. And I was like, I don't want this, right? And I'm like, I'm not gonna use it. And I knew there was a homeless guy out there, and I was like, hey, do you want this? Because I don't want. I think it was like a lemonade or something. And it was like, oh, what is it? And I was like, I think it's like a lemonade or something. So I was like, it's not mine. I just don't want it. Like, I'm going to throw it away. And they were like, oh, no, because I have diabetes or something. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he was like, well, can you get me this or that? And I was like, no, like I get it that like you have your issues, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to go buy you something else just because I offered you something that you couldn't have. Like, I offered you something, you said no. You said, can I get this? And I'm like,
because they said a racial slur.
no, I'm sorry. Like, but yeah, but like I was trying to, like, I wasn't mean about it, but I'm like, do you not want the I was like, do you not want this? And he was like, well, I can't drink it because it's too sweet. And I was like, oh, damn, that's sad. I'm sorry about that. I didn't know that. Yeah. Like,
Well,
and he was like, well, can you go give me this, or can you go buy me this? And I was like, no. And I walked away. Like, I'll give you what I was gonna give you. I'm not gonna go out of my way. I was trying to be nice in the first place. It's like, nigga, you are homeless and you are starving to death. Like, I get it, if it's gonna kill you, don't drink it. But like, if you're just like, I don't like it, it's like,
okay, to be fair, you didn't want to know how strong the lemonade was.
well, no, I'm saying like, no, like, in that situation where I was just saying that like sometimes people just not want things because of their own personal reasons.
Right.
But like,
if you didn't, you couldn't drink it, shit. At least act like,
right, you could have taken the cup, used the ice, you could have just like,
hey, gotten at the tub to get some water. Shit, you could have dumped out the, or, put a little bit more water in there and mellow it out if you really wanted to. Like, there's tons of ways to resolve that.
yeah. And I was like, you could have sipped on it, you didn't have to gulp it down.
Right. And that is not like you eat one thing and your diabetes goes from 0 to a spike and you end up fucking shock or some shit. That's not how that works.
Right, I'm like, I don't, yeah.
So,
I'm like, how you gonna be homeless?
Full of shit.
Yeah, how you gonna be homeless?
And yes, I was just about to say, and have preferences.
That's what I'm like, I get it. I'm not even gonna be mad or rude or nothing, but like, you're not gonna tell me what to do with my money. I'm like, nigga, I don't give a fuck who you are. You ain't make this. You asking me. But
Democracy, do you really know that? Democracy goes 8 videos. That's democracy is
I can't pause the game.
season 3 video. You can find the form of
Well, there's this. I just don't Oh no, I'm sorry, that was me. I made a bowl. It's over there on the table. I remember that bowl I bought you. This bowl. It's over there on the table. How are those 6 players have been fighting?
I like this grinder, but sometimes it's a little old and wacky.
Way stronger.
Which means not only will they remain silent when violence happens against you, no. They're going to enjoy it. That's what they're looking forward to. So at this point, if they call you sexist, homophobe, racist, whatever, who cares? They're going to ignore it. They don't engage in logical reason because they're afraid of it. That's why they isolate their followers. That's why they're polarizing people. They're fearful of real conversations. You know, let me make this clear. The point of this video is not to make you feel the exact same way towards them. Don't fall into the exact same trouble. This video is not created with the purpose to isolate people, to polarize them, to kill conversations. No, I think those things are really important. And we need to call this out for what it is.
Oh,
That's what you need to do. Call out what they're doing. They're radicalizing their own audience. This is how they're doing it. You need to understand this. I don't think there's anything wrong with seeking or gaining political power. That's what we should do. I don't think you should do it through dishonest means. There's absolutely nothing wrong with voting in the laws and rules that you hold into this country.
Yeah.
Oh, that one? No. I don't think so.
Every information is
Like a little bitty
have
squat.
civil debates. Don't lose your fucking mind and attempt to ruin lives by calling people criminals or slurs because you disagree with them. It's very easy. Just be civil. It's really that easy.
Especially as a Christian. They hate you, and they view you as this cartoonish villain. Don't fall down that same path.
Before they do some shit fake for whatever reason.
If you enjoyed this, go back and as always,
This might have been one of the best videos I've ever watched.
It's
in the
probably a
history
really
of
good
the
video.
Very thought-provoking, very well made, very well presented. I love this shit. Great fucking video around it. This really underlies the current issue in society and people being at each other's throats over things that they should just be having a normal conversation over. It's out of fucking control, and I really appreciate you uploading that. Like, comment, subscribe. So the same guy who took iDubbbz' content cop and made it on him and got 1 million views in 3 weeks just dropped his update video called Content Deputy 6 minutes ago.
Not only
So the last
I'm about
video
to A-train a bitch.
offline, it was perfectly made, and he ripped Ian to shreds. This guy does a deep dive on every single portion he goes into, and I cannot wait to watch this shit. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what's going on.
They are terrible. Like, there's no one.
Wait until you see what I've learned.
Oh no.
Okay.
Oh no, is this the Ethan video? Oh no, this is no.
I honestly been thinking about looking up to this.
Wait until you see what I've learned.
But it's probably going with
What?
I thought he was about to do it. I thought he
Nervous system rupture.
It's so doggy.
Did he do something?
Johnny guys.
Daddy! Mario! Why is too down on me? This nigga don't care. Oh yeah. All you do is have IBS or all you shoot yourself. And he's like, yeah. And then she was like, all you do every day is clean up your shit. And I'm like, you said that on stream? This stream? In front of all of his friends and shit. And she's like, the shit you feel. Yeah. Right. You shut that shit down. You wasn't a scam. Not at all. They put that 34. Put the 1 million in the bank. Put 1 million in the top. A multi YouTuber event. Yeah. I cheated. The fuck? Leave the song on down. Leave it alone.
During the stream, there were many times where Ian's face reeked of regret and being uncomfortable as he realized that he was too friends with me, who not care about me whatsoever, and worked well with everything and absolutely okay.
This is real people. Everyone just pretty much picked a person.
You keep the fun out of her.
I think I'm decent from everybody else, so I'm beating people's ass because they can't fuck with me.
Oh, excuse me.
He's fucking. Oh, try to. This nigga keep fucking. Missed. Fuck. Hit him. No, he's dead. See, I'm decent as a fuck as this, because like he should be fucking me up. He is not hitting me. Yeah, I'm a little off from people. People trying to fight me now.
One of my favorite insults I've heard is that just like
He looks like a
you guys are getting some tattoos, you're not pretty bad. You can get one cover up your tattoos because I can tell it's really hard to keep down. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to grab your mask and face, and you're going to want to get something that's around your skin tone and just cover it up. You put enough layers on, it really starts to cover it. Back to how you were. It's pretty perfect, isn't it? Great. Look, you can even just make some more while you do it.
If you would do something.
And then when you take it off, you can relax yourself a little bit. Oh, and the snake is the only one being the original on Twitter. The duck is too. In his content cap, Ian was trying to criticize Ethan for the lawsuits that he was filing against people. You can use that money.
I really feel like if Ian had any semblance of a normal,
every pause is
functioning
awful.
brain, he would have said, "Oh, all of the comments Ethan made were after people went after his wife and kids." I now understand the emotional outburst he had. I apologize for saying that context of the video.
Bone saw!
It's really that easy. He had that ability, but then I promise you, he was afraid of what Hassan might have done if he said that. So he said nothing, being demonstrated by these now 4 times Hassan has told Ian what to do and what not to do on the street.
To bully and intimidate people. No, you have a ton of power. You have a ton
This
of power.
dude
You have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich.
Someone's mad at the internet. But then he tried promoting Denim's GoFundMe, trying to sue Ethan for claiming that she promoted the Giardi claim. Even tried deleting evidence. After she got caught doing that, she refunded the GoFundMe and isn't going to do anything now. No lawyer would help her with that.
You said it was like $90.
It's 85.
Just claiming that she did so many things that are so really well
plus the
documented for everyone
grinder.
to fucking see.
Oh,
Instead of going and telling Ian what to do, telling Ludwig what to do, telling Vinsky what to do. Like, and it's just, you know, if they've done it once, they've probably done it 1,000 fucking times. This isn't speculation.
It's like
This is allegations. This is legitimately
I mean, I go in there all the time, so
demonstrated
you do know me. It's just the
public.
like.
You've absolutely been a frivolous lawsuit, so I don't know why you're promoting that one. Let's
Oh,
begin.
sorry.
So far, the intimidation score isn't really addressing any criticism other than
Yeah, she usually works in that one. That
Where's his next now?
I didn't start going into that one because I saw
So North Sam Smith,
Ian and Charlottesville a lot more.
has been doing a bunch of charity streams from Palestinian
that.
refugees, and that's cool. And on these streams, he's been having a variety of guests. Some of
Yeah,
them were
that's cool.
to be expected, and others were absolutely insane. What do you think about what Inshallah doing now?
Look, why is everybody interviewing the same parents? I'm so confused.
Stubbing
Because he's attractive looking, maybe?
about how I feel about
So people know that he'll get views.
this, the
Oh, they
FBI.
talk about him.
Yeah, he's the terrorist.
But I would say this motion and this motion. And
Why are we showing support to a designated terrorist organization designated by the United States who have just recently bombed civilians? What? Oh my God! What are we doing?
And,
America,
we also had
fucking.
we're live, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I keep forgetting to mention that. Listening to this people,
like
these
that?
two people
It's
having
like
a
a
conversation could
fucking
put anyone to sleep in 5 minutes.
Listen,
Other than
ass
the internet
bitch.
that Noah is streaming. This whole thing is a mess. Other than the multitude
Oh,
of dumb
that-
tangents
that
these
is
two
so
go on,
explaining.
and the multitude
why?
of
'Cause I
times
thought
that
he
Ian
was gonna go
humiliates
back
himself
into
for
the
no
mouth and
reason
it
at all.
just-
Although my hairline's kind of receding, but this stream is notable because Ian actually addresses
So,
some of the
it's just
criticisms that
disappointing.
people like myself had thrown his way, and he even mentions yours truly. Hey, Anissa and husband, hope you guys are having a great time watching.
You mean Anissa and wife?
Let's see what Ian addresses in this high-energy, fast-paced interview with Noah Samson cosplaying as XXX Tentacion.
Some people are like,
Talking.
this is way too like
Yeah, it was.
into
It's always
politics.
hyped up.
They thought the video. There was a lot of people who thought the video was too centered around Israel Palestine. I was like, that's in my mind, that's crazy because I felt like it was just the smallest touch of that.
The smallest touch.
I'm not gonna lose this.
You're open with it.
It's really sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli, serving the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel.
Oh my God, you didn't even like your own video. Well, that actually might be the case.
I'd also take ownership for the Tana. The Tana thing was my idea. It was my stupid idea.
So he's deflecting the criticism of him putting his politics in his new shithead friend over a near decade-long friend.
And there was some people who said the exact opposite, and they were like, "Oh, this is just like this is something that could have been addressed behind closed doors. Like this is way ultimate right, whatever that you're making public."
That's the exact opposite. So when Ian made his phone call, that was now it's
I'm not going
And
to
now he's a piece of shit.
and now he's killing me.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? Something, man. You got brain loss. Yeah, you were a children man who used to be that's a shame.
And that's crazy. That's what I think they believe. Like, I really used to watch this nigga back then. Sometimes. Like, sometimes his videos would be funny to me, but now he's just really the definition of a cop.
This would have been handled in
In the back while his wife is there.
genocide is basically
Really fucking him.
take that.
I'm pretty satisfied with that because I feel like that's probably the sweet spot. You know, that people can say those things.
Like you haven't seen most of the criticism about you. Like I think you know that there's a little bit more.
I'm sneaking. My building goes through walls. So I'm just over here chilling. I'm literally just over here chilling.
With some of the energy that I think people are like,
See, that's it.
Somebody was like, no, I'm sick of this shit.
Right, it really was.
Fireball shooting, bro.
Did he actually
What
listen
the
to
hell?
critiques?
Yeah, I think
Bada bing, bada boom. Now you're good to go.
Yeah, see?
And then you're good. Like, it's really that easy.
Watch this. Now I'm poisoning everybody. I'm taking it. Yep. Poison them together. No, I grabbed somebody.
It's also political.
Oh my god. You are really looking too many guys without looking at them. It's crazy. I literally didn't look at anybody in the fucking face. That's hilarious. That's so cool.
I was supporting my team. I ain't died one time. It was only two of us. It was only two of us. We was fucking them up.
Every given turn of anything, you can't just enjoy something for it to be entertainment. Then you're delusion. Not everything's.
I was fighting. I can't pause the game. Where's the
I had to make fun of you.
Where's it? No. Can we talk about the economic system of the world? Oh, fucking Jay,
Now, before we continue with this
Can we talk
interview, I
about
must
how
remind
the
you guys
fucking
of the
world
point
is
I made
coming
about
to a
no
crash and the
No,
universe is
the main
about to
conclusion is that all of these creators
and
back genocide
14
because they criticized Han,
and
which
people
takes a
deep
lot of fucking hoops to draw that
nepotism.
conclusion. And after watching this dog shit video, I completely understand why Ethan Klein and Muda are want to sue. I won't get into my opinions on if they should or shouldn't sue, but let's just say I won't exactly feel sad if this scares the shit out of Noah Samson
that
for
was
years,
really fucking
fearing
cool.
generational death. You shouldn't feel
I know,
confident
you
to slander people. Now, Noah is no stranger to slandering
I
people.
wish you were
For example, he
recording.
called the commentary
Out
Oh, I did.
pedophile
You should
baselessly,
post
and then
that.
was later forced to apologize.
Oh,
As
And he's
really
apparently
awesome.
still being sued by Ethan Klein and Muda for the slander that took place in
Probably not a good thing to
YouTube
say.
back